On. Hey, councilors, we'll call our main council meeting to order, and we'll start as usual with a moment of silence to pray or as you wish. And please remember tonight our two little ones lost in the woods, Lily and Jack, and also the family of the young kayaker that we lost late last week. A lot of sadness in our county this weekend. Thank you. And now we'll have the land acknowledgement. Acknowledge that we're on the ancestral territories of the Mi'kmaq people, and we want to thank the Mi'kmaq people of today for sharing these beautiful lands in Pictou County with our ancestors, whether they came 400 years ago or 4 years ago. We are all treaty people. Thank you. So approval of the agenda is next, and you received that earlier. Are there any concerns about the agenda? Councillor Donnie Parker.
Is it possible to get something added to the agenda or not?
Well, we don't like to do that unless it's an emergency resolution. If it can be shown that it's something that we really need to deal with, that we can't deal with at the next meeting, then it's an emergency resolution.
It's just to do with the two children that are lost out in Lansdowne. It's not a...
Well, if you want to make a comment or something on that, you know, I can allow that. It's not, go ahead then, because it is in your district.
I was out there today, and it's a tragic situation. Hopefully it's going to come out, you know, hopefully they're going to find them there. And there is a ton of searchers out there. There's search and rescue from Lunenburg, Annapolis, Halifax, Eastern Shore, Colchester, East Hants, Cape Breton. They're from all over. They're giving it everything they got to try to find these two little ones. They got 4 or 5 search dogs, helicopters, drones, you name it. They're giving it everything they got. I spoke to the staff sergeant there in charge Saturday, and they're, you know, because it's two little children, you know, everybody wants to come, so they're coming from all over the province. And it's, I just went out there today to thank them all for coming, and they're show the appreciation from the county here and our community, and community wants to help with any way they can help, but you know, they don't need searchers. The only thing the Staff Sergeant Weiss is his name in charge there. He said we could use way more search and rescue personnel that would be trained up ahead of time. You know, he wants more people to join search and rescue. But yeah, it's difficult. I spoke to the mom Saturday afternoon about 4:30, and she's doing quite well considering, you know. She was quite composed, and she has a little one in her hands, and just trying to, hoping and praying these two show up. I hope they find them. And but yeah, that's the only thing I want to say about her. You know, we just keep them in your thoughts and prayers. Our hearts go out to the parents and the family, and we're just trying to hope that they find them. And because it's not from lack of effort, I can tell you. Everybody is there from the whole province. That's search and rescue, and it's just amazing. There's people there from St. John, New Brunswick, PEI. They're helping out with the what do you call it, Salvation Army is looking after feeding everybody, and they're coming in from all over too. And it's well organized, but they're out there in the wet and the cold and searching all night. I mean, they've searched all night for them. They're trying to find them. And I think we just, you know, we owe a big appreciation to all these people that are out there trying to find these two young children, and hopefully it'll turn out well.
Well, thank you for that. It's certainly been a big issue in our whole county over the past weekend. I don't think there's a conversation I have with anybody that doesn't either start with or get to the two little ones that are lost. And we can't forget the other very sad occasion for the other family where the kayaker, young teenager, was lost. We're coming to that season again where we're on the water, enjoying the water, and we just need to ask everybody to be very careful, I guess, when you're anywhere near the water. It's a great friend, and everybody wants to build houses and cottages near the water and have fun in the water, but water can also be our enemy. It's sort of like fire. But I think you're right to bring up that we owe a big thanks to not just in our own county, but to all the other counties that have come forward. I've done more interviews today and yesterday than I ever did as warden over this one issue. People are really concerned. They really want to know what's going on, and the longer things go, unfortunately, people, start to make up their own minds of what they think happened or whatever, or what is happening, and that can cause a lot of hurt sometimes. So I just ask everybody to be kind, because some things can happen sometimes, and people can take up their own ideas of what they think is going on. But again, a big thanks to all the RCMP, the firefighters, the search and rescue from all over. They ask me sometimes, well, as warden, are you up there? Well, I'd be in the way as much as anybody else. I'm certainly in touch with Donnie because he's the counselor for the area, and our job, I tell them, is, we help fund and support the search and rescue, certainly when it comes here, and the firefighters in various ways, and the RCMP. And our job is to fund them at budget time or whatever, and then let the professionals do the job when they're needed. And that's my take on it, that any counselor being there, it's good to be there to, if it's your area, to thank people, but as far as helping, we would be just as much in the way as anybody else. So I thank you for bringing that up, and I have Councillor Wadden.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm just wondering if we could move Resolution 10.7 to after our in-camera session tonight. I'd have a better comfort level, I think, just discussing that and voting in favor of it if we could have our in-camera first.
So you're requesting that 10.7 be done after our in-camera number 12. Is that agreed by the rest of the councillors? Agreed. Okay, we will do that then. Make sure I get that drawn in right. Now I saw another light. Councillor Dewar.
Thank you very much. And just when we were on this note, I wanted to bring up about Kaylin McKinnon. That boy that was lost, that's his name, but we have the man here tonight that saved his brother. And one of our speakers here tonight, Ann Monroe, it's her husband, Allie, sitting right here that was able to get the other boy on shore and be there. So I think we're thanking everybody, the volunteers out there. We have a man here tonight that should be thanked.
Certainly, thanks, Councillor Dewar, for bringing that to our attention. We never would have known, and thank you so much for your role in that. Even though there's tragedy there, there's also a life saved. That's good to know. Thank you.
Need a motion for the agenda.
Yeah, I'm getting back onto that. I need a motion to approve the agenda. Seconded by Councillor Turner. I'm not gonna. Did you want to say something, Councillor Bailey? No. Oh, okay. I saw you with the mic. I just wanted to be sure. Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Yes. That took a little while, but it was worth it. So let's move on to emergency resolutions. Are there any emergency resolutions this evening? Go ahead, Councillor Bailey.
Thank you, Warden. It's awful hard to call this an emergency, but I've been dealing with the Nova Scotia Power over the last probably 5 to 6 weeks in regards to their repairs to leaning power poles. Instead of replacing them, they take a brand new pole and use it as a lean-to. So I have 3 in my area within a kilometer radius of River John. So I'm looking for a letter to be sent. I'm tired waiting for phone calls or saying, yeah, we'll get back to you, or leaving messages, and I'm just looking for support from council to send a letter off. I know I could have waited 2 more weeks, but the ones that have these here lean-tos sitting in their yard, they're not overly happy about them.
Okay, first I have to get agreement from the council to let this go forward as an emergency resolution. So is there agreement to let this go as an emergency resolution? Is anybody opposed? Okay, that's the easiest way. Okay, so go ahead and make your motion then, Councillor Bailey, on the Leaning Towers.
Okay, again, thank you, Warden. I'd like to make a motion that we send a letter to Nova Scotia Power asking them to, instead of putting lean-tos onto their leaning power poles, to replace them, or at least give us some kind of a timeline as to when they will replace them. Okay?
Okay, we need a seconder. Councillor Wadden seconded that motion. Are there any questions on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Against? Motion carried. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Councillor Boyles.
Yeah, I just want to, emergency resolution too is, I don't know if the coyotes, we're getting a lot of reports, and it's a dangerous situation out there right now, and we're having a problem in Lynacy and that, and I just wanted to see if it was all right to bring them up about the problems we're having with the coyotes.
Again, I'm trying not to be hard here, but is that something that could wait 2 weeks and come up at our committee level?
Well, if right now, I guess the big thing that we're worried about is it's mating season for the coyotes and their pups, so they're very, very protective right now. And if a kid's out and a kid goes around where they are, they're going to rip them apart, or an old person or anybody else. That's all. We turn around was hoping that we could get something sent and something put on our own Facebook to turn around, try and warn people, maybe save a life. It don't matter if you want to wait.
I think I just want to be careful that we don't, I don't want to be unfair to you and Councillor Bailey, the other, but I think we have to be careful or we'll be abusing the emergency resolutions eventually by putting too many things on there that could wait 2 weeks to the next meeting. But the topic is I don't think we're going to stop the coyotes from eating anything, but we can bring it to attention, and I think Adam can probably put it on our social media. We don't have to wait till we make a motion for sure.
You know, I'm very disappointed in this council anyway. I mean, for the turnaround and for something as important as that it could save a life, that the coyotes are dangerous.
If
and
council
they
wants
could.
to deal with it, we'll
I
deal
mean,
with it. Do you want to deal with this tonight? Agreed. That's Lady O, wasn't it?
Well, as I say, in Lynacy, there's packs of 8, 9 dogs. I even turned around and heard that down in Caribou there was turned around and a pack of 10. I mean, they're not afraid of nothing. In Lynacy, they went right in after a woman went out and had her dogs tied out, and the coyotes, and she went out, and they weren't scared of her neither. They were coming after them. So it's just, I think there should, if we could, I'd like to make a motion to turn around and put it on for one thing on our own, and maybe Adam could do a little research on how dangerous it is right now with them having their pups and stuff like that, and let people know. But also we should be writing the natural resources or something and ask them, what's their plan for these coyotes? So I make that a motion if I could.
I'll second it.
So that's to write a letter to is it called Natural Resources now? Is it still Department of Natural Resources to ask them to do what, Peter? To ask the natural.
Well, that's what's their plans for these coyotes and that. I mean, they are a danger. We know that. I mean, we already went down Cape Breton. There was a woman attacked and killed by them. You know what I mean? So what is the plans of trying to get these things eliminated or at least cut down on the numbers?
So the letters to ask them for their plans for out of control of these coyotes.
And for Adam to do a little research and put it on our website.
Okay, are there any questions on the motion? Hearing Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Against? Motion carried. Okay, now we'll move on to our minutes. We have two sets of minutes, one, both April 7th, one for our regular meeting and one for the in-camera session. Are there any questions on or concerns to do with the minutes of April the 7th? Any questions or concerns on the minutes of April the 7th? One last time, any questions or concerns on the meeting of April the 7th? Okay, I'll declare those minutes approved as presented. And now we'll look at the minutes for our in-camera session of April the 7th. Any questions, concerns on those minutes? Any questions or concerns on the minutes of the in-camera session? And one last time, any questions or concerns on the minutes, the in-camera minutes of April 7th? So I'll also declare those ones approved as presented. Now, for the next section, section 7 on our agenda, I'm going to turn the chair over to the deputy warden because I have some comments to make on some of the correspondence, and then I'll step back in the chair for the proclamations. So it's all over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Warden. So correspondence 7.1, Nova Scotia Emergency Management regarding fire service review. Any comments on the letter? Go ahead, Mr. Warden.
I guess I'm already on. I just want to say that I was pleased to see this motion to go forward, or their request for proposals, I guess, which is already closed now before the end of April. But it's from the FSANS, the Fire Service Association of Nova Scotia, and it addresses many of the issues that I brought up earlier about, you know, not inadequate, but inequitable funding in our various fire departments in this county, but also some bigger issues looking forward. And it appears they're going to address all those issues from, you know, a lot of our fire departments are concerned about the number of volunteers and how that's going to work out in the long run. But a lot of other things, and they've had a lot of studies, and they talk about that over the past 50 years, I think it's it. And a lot of them just never go anywhere. They never get finished. They never get enforced at all. But this appears to be going to happen very quickly. They've already closed the applications for the group that's going to do the look into all of this, and they're going to be working very closely with the councils, the fire departments, and the police, ambulance, everything to make sure that we're as set up as best we can going forward. And a few things that I noted, there was a lot of reading there as I got near the bottom. It said that our current system is fragmented, difficult to navigate, inconsistent with best practices seen in other Canadian jurisdictions. And that came from a 2023 FSANS report. Number 6 was identify mental health needs. I think it's very, very important in our fire departments. They see a lot. They go through a lot. And that can't help but affect people. So we need to make sure that we have the best help available for our firefighters. Number 10 was to ensure communities are served effectively and equitably. And I believed for a long while that our system of funding fire departments is not equitable. It depends on how much assessment you have in your area. So some areas grow significantly every year, so therefore their check goes up. Those areas that don't grow near as quickly, and it's usually because you're not near the water, then they don't grow. And so those who have and those who haven't get farther and farther apart. So I'm hoping that they look into, across Nova Scotia, fire departments are all done very differently. A lot of them are done differently anyway, and there's a lot of disagreements, let's say, between local communities on fire departments. And they also, in number 11, it says to provide models for funding sustainability. I think that's awfully important and applies to our county, I believe. You know, we not only need equitable funding, but we need sustainable funding. Right now, we have a system of taxation that our fire departments use. Other, like Cumberland, has a different system altogether where they handle all the finances. But I'm not saying that's right and ours is wrong or anything, but I'm just glad to see that finally somebody with some believability. This is not government. Most of the things we're getting are from the provincial government saying we're doing this or doing that to you or at you. This is from the Fire Service Association of Nova Scotia, and it has a lot better chance of success because it's coming from the firefighters. And not, even when we did a small study years ago, you know, it was seen as us trying to tell people what to do. That wasn't the intent, but out of that study, we got Evan Hale working with our fire departments, and so somewhere in there it mentioned some of the things that, some of the improvements that we got at that time. But it wasn't all seen positively, but I think because the Fire Service Association themselves are doing it, it'll be seen much more positively. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Councillor Palmer?
Thank you, Deputy Warden. This letter, to me, there's some good things in it, and there's some things that I disagree with. My father was one of the, I don't know if he's a founding member, but he's early stages of the Thornton Fire Department. And I remember going up to a two-room building, sitting on cans, watching my father work and things like that when I was a young kid. He put a lot of time and effort in. It's no different than what the volunteers are doing here today. And that's what they are. They are volunteers. And when you start telling a volunteer that you have to have a certain level of service, well, you're not going to have volunteers anymore. You're going to have paid firefighters. The other thing that, yeah, some areas have more money than the others because of their assessment and things like that, but if you own $1 million home, you're paying a lot of money for that fire service if it's at 8 cents. The fire departments are not-for-profit organizations owned by the district that they are in. So that's why the funding model isn't, I know it's not perfect, but that fire department is owned by that district, not by anybody else, not by this municipality. We collect the money and we give it out to the fire departments. We don't have enough volunteers now as it is. When my father started, it was house fires. You go to house fires, and there was quite a few back then because of the older homes and everybody burnt wood and things like that. But today, the house fires are very few and far between now. If you look at our fire services, it's motor vehicle accidents, it's EHS going for assistance for that, and doing traffic control on a road and things like that. So, you know, the fire service has changed quite a bit, and we're asking a lot on our volunteers, and it's no different than any other. We're asking them to be trained, and it takes a lot of time and effort for them to put in to become a level 1, level 2 firemen. So, you know, we're asking a lot of these volunteers. So we've got to be very careful of what, I agree with the mental health stuff and things like that, because they do see a lot of stuff that, you know, the normal person doesn't see. But we got to be very careful about, we better be working with our volunteers to say, is this something that will work for you? If it's not, then we better stay away from it, because at some point, we won't have volunteers. So, thank you.
Thank you. Any further comments? Go ahead, Mr. Warden. Anybody else? Oh, just hang on. Go ahead, Ronnie, first.
Thank you, Deputy Warden. I guess I'm in pretty well in agreement with Councillor Palmer. I don't think our system's broke, and that means it definitely don't need to be fixed. And what scares me with the study, and I do agree, it's the fire department saying that, or the fire service in Nova Scotia saying they're doing the study, but at the end of the day, the province is paying for it. It worries me that they'll come back and give us a blanket service right across the board, and I don't think we're gonna like. I know for a fact our fire departments won't like it, and it's just going to cause a lot of headaches. Like I said, as far as I'm concerned, our system's not broke. We There's no point in fixing it. I do agree, there's always going to be a difference, but there's a difference in everything when you go funding and you get increases by percentage. There's always going to be a difference, and it's going to keep getting wider. We can take any employment out there, and if you get a 2% raise and you're making 20,000, and the person beside you is making 80,000 for some unknown reason, you're never going to catch that other person. And I mean, it's the way it is in the world today. So I definitely not in favor of any study. I know the province is going to go ahead and do it anyway, but we got to understand it's them that's funding it, so they're going to call the shots.
Thank you, Councillor Bailey. Anybody else that didn't speak, want to speak on it before Robert does? Go ahead, Debbie.
Jared, just a comment that because you're a water area, you take in more money. I think that's totally unfair. They're built fire departments all along our coast, and I think we should be proud of that. And they use their money wisely. They don't waste their money. The equipment they purchase with these, what they call HAB departments, is that they help everybody in the whole county. So it's not that they're taking funds away from any area. They're well using the funds that they are able to receive.
Thank you, Debbie. Any further comments? Okay, Robert, I guess everybody else is done. Go ahead. White's
There. I want to make it very clear, I'm not against volunteer fire departments, but I am for equitable funding between the fire departments. I saw what happened in my area within the last year, where money was drawn away, and nobody remembered the agreements. They were that old that nobody remembered them, so it was fine just to dissolve those. And I think we need a more equitable system of funding, but it doesn't mean I'm against volunteer fire departments. I know the wonderful work they've done this weekend, along with others, and I think we need to be able to look at things without being always seen that, well, if you speak up on anything to do with fire departments, you must be against fire departments. I don't feel that way. I know the ones in our fire department that work very hard, they do a lot of training and everything. This, to me, is something to look at every different angle of our firefighting across the province and say, how can we improve it? Rather than just close our eyes and say, we don't want to say anything about fire departments, or it makes it sound like we're against firefighters. I simply don't accept that, and there's a lot in this that could be valuable to us. If we start out with the attitude that we're against it, then I don't think we're going to get the input that we deserve as a council. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Joe McDonald.
I think this study is, if it broadens over all Nova Scotia, like we're not bad off in Pictou County, but there's some communities in the province that needs some overview. And if one part of this helps the county, I think it's a benefit. If they take in it from everybody, take the input from every fire departments, and everybody inputs their recommendations and that stuff, and if they do something rather than just laying it on the shelf after, that's the big thing. You see the list of studies that have been done in the last 20 years, 25 years, and they just put them on the shelves. So if they can improve the firefighting capabilities and the training in Nova Scotia, I'm all for it. Thank you.
Thanks, Joe. Okay, we'll move on to 7.2, Nova Scotia Municipal Affairs, regarding the beautification and streetscaping program and the community works program. Any comments on that one? No. Oh, sorry. Okay, not seeing any. We'll move to 7.3, Municipality of the County of Colchester, regarding minimum planning requirements. Any comments on that one? Go ahead, Robert.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The letter that Mayor Blair wrote to Minister Lohr, I believe it went to, is almost bang on with what we said here. We worked for 2-3 years, whatever it was, with citizens and with the wind turbine companies, trying to find a solution that was, or a solution that was acceptable by everyone, and we came up with that eventually. It wasn't easy. There was a lot of back and forth, and some people unfortunately lost because we were too late getting, the regulations in, or the bylaws in, and they already had a wind tower sitting almost on their doorstep. And but eventually we did come up with something that that worked, and it was a 1 kilometer setback along with some noise regulation, that if it was over a certain amount of noise, they had to shut them down. And that was acceptable. It would still allow for development of wind towers, and it would have the people to feel somewhat protected from somebody plunking them down too close to them. And then along comes the minister in just an edict, here, I don't know, about a month ago, whenever it came out, saying that the new rules for wind turbines, it was 4 times the height? 4 times the height, which I think came in at about half a kilometer rather than a kilometer. But you can imagine the upset of people who fought hard to get that from 600 meters, which was our intermediate step, to a kilometer. And here, Colchester County went to 2 kilometers. Well, that again was after a lot of consultation with their residents and the businesses. And then the province comes in and says, no, it's going to be one standard because they want to get more wind towers, which is fine. I agree with them, get more wind towers, but you have to be fair to both sides here, I think. And to come out with an edict like that, just canceling all of our public consultation work and whatnot. So I totally agreed, but I didn't want to write a letter. I said I'd write a letter in support of that because NSM doesn't really want us to write separate letters, although I think it actually helps if you have NSFM writing on behalf, plus several councils. But I wanted to see what councillors felt here, if they wanted to write a letter in addition to that, in addition to what Minister Blair did, or in addition to what NSFM is saying. But it's just so wrong that the government will say on the one hand that municipal governments are closer to the people and they should decide on coastal erosion and what the rules should be. It's all right to have different rules all around the province, but yet they come out on this and say it's the same all across the province. We're just saying, bang, it's this is the setback for all of you, no matter what you have done. I know what they're aiming for is to get a lot more the type of development they want, but I think they have to get that in consultation with the public and not, we're just being dictated to as to what to do on these issues, and we have no real control. We're just told what to do, and then suddenly the regulations change. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Warden. Councillor Palmer.
Thank you, Deputy Warden. First, I'd like to state, I wasn't implying that our warden was against fire departments. We both have different views about certain things, and I just wanted to get out there. But I don't think you're against fire departments. And I agree with the warden about that letter. I was on the Plan Advisory Committee since 2006, and we went through a lot of public consultations and a lot of meetings, and we finally came to somewhere that the resident was pleased with, and the operator was pleased with. So, it was disheartening to see that now we're back to square one. We're even less than what we were at the start of it. We're probably under the 600 meter mark with the 4 times the height. So I just don't know why that they come out with such a minimum standard for wind turbines, because some of these turbines now are actually a lot larger and they produce a lot more energy and things like that. So I just think that they're going the wrong way, and I agree with the letter from the Municipality of Colchester, and I have no problem if this council wanted to write a letter on their own too. So thank you.
Thank you, Randy. Councillor McKeel.
Thank you very much, Deputy Warden. I too, when I read this letter, was very supportive from Mayor Blair. We spent a lot of taxpayer money. We spent a lot of time as councils, as Councillor Palmer said, since he's been on the committee since 2006 dealing with this. It has been a large concern in this county, especially last summer, out in District 11 specifically, also with windmills coming into very rural parts of our province, which will not affect, if I say, the day-to-day lives of any of these ministers or governments, right? It's the people. And to your comment, Warden, you said it perfectly. We have taken our time because we deal with the people closer than any other form of government. And so we are the ones that spent taxpayer money. We spent time here trying to get it right. And in one swift swipe of a pen, it is gone. So I'm going to make a motion tonight that we write a letter to the Honorable John Lohr, also kind of similar to Mayor Blair's letter, expressing our disappointment in the amendments that were, new amendments for allowable setbacks of wind turbines in the Nova Scotia municipalities. So I'll make that a motion.
Thank you. Do we have a
second
second? Regularly moved and seconded. Councillor Don Parker.
I just want to speak on this letter here from Mayor Blair. I think the province is making a big mistake trying to roll back what you put in place at 1 kilometer. They have a 2-kilometer setback. I wouldn't have a problem with that. You ever talk to anybody that's living near a windmill, they'll tell you up Fitzpatrick Mountain there, not very far away, they hear whoosh, whoosh, whoosh all the freaking time sitting in their backyard. So I think that's a mistake, and I believe we should agree with Councilor McKeel there that we send off a letter here and tell them what we think. Not that it'll make any difference, but at least we'll get it on the on their attention anyhow. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Don. Anybody else want to comment before second round? Okay, go ahead, Robert.
Just on the motion, NSFM requested, at our meetings the end of last week, that if we were sending separate letters on any issue, that we also send a copy to them so that they know that we did send it. They weren't against sending them, they just wanted to know, who had sent them or whatever. And I think we also should send a copy to the County of Colchester, same as they sent their copy to us and to our 3 local MLAs.
Is that agreed with the mover and seconder? Agreed. Okay. Everyone in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. One to mind it. Motion carried. Thank you. 7-4, Town of Stellarton regarding condition of Auburn Avenue. The request in the letter, is it from here? I guess, Brian, if you want to.
Already done. The day I received it, I forwarded it to the province, so.
Already done, okay. That's so good our staff is.
It is the game.
To,
Oh, sorry.
okay. 7-5, letter from Minister Lohr regarding fire records management system. Any comments? Okay. Yeah, go ahead, Joe.
I just hope this one is better than the last system that they redone 10 years ago. It says 30 in this letter, but they did go for it 10 or 15 years ago. It just came out 4 or 5 years ago, roughly, and it's not much better, or it's worse than the first one, so I just hope that it's better.
Okay, thank you for your comments. Okay, there's nothing further. Mr. Warden's back in your.
Thank you for that, doing that job for me. Now we have, must be proclamation heaven here tonight. We've got about 6 proclamations, I think, but that's great. It shows that our county is active and lots going on. I'm very pleased to ask Brian to vacate his seat, and Ann Monroe is going to join me here as we go through the Gaelic month proclamation. I'm sure she'll be better at it than me. Welcome, Ann.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to read the proclamation in English first, and then I'll let you read the proclamation. You have a copy there in Gaelic. Whereas 2025 marks the 29th anniversary of Gaelic Nova Scotia Month, which is a time to embrace, honor, and celebrate the language, culture, history, contributions, and achievements of Gaels across the province. Whereas Gaelic language and culture are integral components of the identity of Nova Scotia, and the Gaels represent one of the earliest non-Indigenous cultural groups to settle in Mi'kma'ki. Whereas new generations of language learners and cultural champions continue to build upon the legacy of Gaelic Nova Scotia's tradition bearers. Whereas government commits to collaborating with Gaelic communities to support the growth of Gaelic Nova Scotia through opportunities for language acquisition, cultural awareness, and capacity building within communities to ensure Gaelic language and culture remain vibrant elements of the living linguistic and cultural landscape of Nova Scotia. Therefore, be it resolved that I, Warden Robert Parker, on behalf of the Municipality of the County of Pictou, do hereby proclaim the week of May 2025 as Gaelic Nova Scotia Month. That should read, hereby proclaim the month of May 25, not the week. Dated at Pictou, Nova Scotia, this 5th day of May 2025, signed by myself, Robert Parker. Go ahead, Ann.
Okay, thank you. Miasnan Gale, Shachten Colric, Da Vilas Coig Icheth, a Nuyev Cown Blina Icheth, though Viasnan Gale, a Hana Am, Gus Cannon, Coulter, Ectory, is Arsgrievelin nan Gale, Harna Mol Ronyak, is na Kullet Ria, a Dlugal, Honorach, Eis a Gleog, Eis, Shach Gavel, Cannon is Coulter nan Gale, nan Parsht Wuanchach, though Gain Hain, Anya, na Halapanuai, is Eat, na Gale, Che ye na Buyan, Coultera, no Husanach, Nabutraya, a Hunig, an in cheer na Migama, Ayas, Shach Gavel, Genialich Ula, though Luch Yunsahi, a Cannon, a Gasuin Hulteral, a Kumalora, is Eat an Nathan Gudlu, Rielap, Shenahian, na Halapanuai, Ayas, Shach Gavel and Realtas, and Gal, Elevia co Opruk, like Coyersnock and Gaelach, Gustaich a Horst the Lessahug, nan Gael, and an Alapanuai, Throw Crowhaman, Gus Cannon, Mohawk Coulteral, agus Comas na Coyersnock a Hokel, a Gina Kinja, gum Vey Cannon, agus Coulter nan Gael, nan Parsh Verstock, don Lairson Cannanock, is Coulteral, a ha bow, and an Alapanuai.
Thank you, Ann.
Tapala.
I'm sure that if I had read that, I would have slaughtered that. I can't help but think back in here right in our county, in the late 1700s, the 1800s, up to even the mid-1900s, that discussions around the supper table would sound like that.
They
Maybe
would.
not the same words, but they'd sound like that. It's almost hard to imagine in all our local communities and our church services. I know my wife works at the Log Church in Lochroom, and they, you know, there was, at the first, I think it was 2 hours in Gaelic and 2 hours in English. So you had to come for the day. There was no scheduling something else for Sunday afternoon. But no, it's great to have you here, Ann, and have our chamber have that sound in it to reflect our history through all the years. So thank you again.
Shit the bear.
Okay, we're going to take a picture. We're going to go down front and take a picture with the Gaelic flag. Everything. The whole council. Okay, so we got the picture taken with the Lyme disease flag and now, or Lyme prevention flag, I should call it. Not tick prevention. But this is a proclamation to declare Lyme Disease Awareness Month. So this is not for a day or week, but it's for the whole month of May. Whereas Lyme disease is a serious illness caused by the bite of a black-legged tick infected with the bacterium Borrelia burgdorferi. Whereas black-legged ticks carrying a variety of diseases or illnesses can now be found in all parts of Nova Scotia. Whereas awareness, education, and practicing preventative measures such as daily tick checks and proper tick removal can help reduce your chances of contracting tick-borne diseases. Therefore, be it resolved that I, Warden Robert Parker, on behalf of the municipality of the County of Pictou, do hereby proclaim May 2025 as Lyme Disease Awareness Month, dated at Pictou, Nova Scotia, this 5th day of May 2025, signed by myself, Warden Robert Parker. And I just want to say that we all know, I think, Brenda Sterling Goodwin and the tremendous work she does on advocating for this very thing of warning everybody about the danger of ticks and the illnesses they can cause, the best known one being Lyme disease. But I've known of 2 dogs in our area that died within the last 6 months because they're bitten by a tick. You know, their kidneys just shut down. So not only people, but you have to watch your pets when they're coming in, to check for ticks always. They can be deadly, I guess I'll put it that way. Okay, and now we'll move on to our next proclamation, Access Awareness Week, May 25th to 31st, so coming up the end of this month. Whereas the week of May 25th to 31st, 2025 is recognized as Access Awareness Week, whereas Access Awareness Week aims to celebrate achievements made both by and for persons with disabilities in the areas of accessibility, transportation, housing, employment, recreation, education, and communication. Whereas this is the 39th year that this public awareness initiative has taken place in Nova Scotia, and the theme for the 2025 Access Awareness Week is Our Voices, Our Votes, Disability Rights in Action. Whereas Access Awareness Week promotes the inclusion of all Nova Scotians with disabilities as full citizens within our communities, and whereas through public awareness, community partnerships, and education, this campaign aims to foster an environment of equal participation for persons with disabilities within the municipality of the County of Pictou. Whereas the municipality of the County of Pictou will fly the Access Awareness flag in honor of this week. Therefore, be it resolved that I, Warden Robert Parker, on behalf of the municipality of the County of Pictou, do hereby proclaim May the 25th to 31st, 2025 as Access Awareness Week, dated at Pictou, Nova Scotia, this 5th day of May, 2025, and signed by myself, Warden Robert Parker. Time to catch my breath here. Okay, so our next proclamation, and these are all very important because we have a lot all 1 month, doesn't make them any less important. They're all very important. So this is the proclamation International Day Against Homophobia and Transphobia. Whereas the Charter of Human Rights and Freedoms recognizes that no one can be discriminated based on sexual orientation or gender identity or expression. Whereas Canada is a society open to everyone, including lesbian, gay, bisexual, and trans people, LGBTQ+, and to all other people who identify with sexual diversity and the multiplicity of gender identities and expressions. Whereas despite recent efforts toward greater inclusion of LGBTQ+ people, homophobia and transphobia are still present in our society. Whereas May the 17th is the International Day Against Homophobia and Transphobia, is celebrated as such in many countries, and is a result of a Quebec-based initiative promoted by Fondation Emergence, starting in 2003. whereas the municipality of the County of Pictou will be flying the Pride flag on May the 17th, 2025 in honor of this day. Therefore, be it resolved that the municipality of the County of Pictou proclaim May the 17th, 2025 International Day Against Homophobia and Transphobia. Dated at Pictou, Nova Scotia, the 5th day of May, 2025, signed by myself, Warden Robert Parker. So that's a one-day one, May the 17th. And the next one is the Emergency Preparedness Week, May the 4th to the 10th of 2025. Whereas Emergency Preparedness Week is a national awareness initiative supported by Public Safety Canada, working closely with provincial and territorial emergency management organizations, Indigenous organizations, non-governmental organizations, and private sector who support activities at the local level. Whereas the municipality of the County of Pictou recognizes the importance of emergency management in Nova Scotia. Whereas the goal of Emergency Preparedness Week is to increase awareness of individual, family, and community preparedness for the possibility of an emergency. Whereas Emergency Preparedness Week encourages everyone to take simple steps to become better prepared and remain safe when facing a range of emergencies. Know the risks, make a plan, get an emergency kit. Whereas the municipality of the County of Pictou will work with REMO to promote the safety of our community by reminding residents we must prepare and practice now and learn how to secure a strong and healthy tomorrow. Therefore, be it resolved that I, Warden Robert Parker, on behalf of the municipality of the County of Pictou, do hereby proclaim the week of May 4th to 10th, 2025, to be Emergency Preparedness Week, and encourage all citizens to participate in educational activities on emergency preparedness. Dated at Pictou, Nova Scotia, this 5th day of May, 2025, signed by myself, Warden Robert Parker. And the final proclamation for tonight is to do with our VON. VON week is May the 18th to the 24th of 2025. Whereas the municipality of the County of Pictou is looking forward to celebrating VON week, May the 18th to 24th, 2025. Whereas VON week is an annual event recognizing the people who support VON in achieving our mission to help people live in their homes and communities by delivering the caring support that they need and their families need. Whereas the 2025 theme, At the Heart of Care, it recognizes that it's the people who make VON special. VON staff and volunteers put their whole hearts into providing life-changing care to clients. VON is also at the heart of the healthcare system. It brings people support they need and want, at home and in the community, so they can live healthier, happier lives surrounded by loved ones. Therefore, be it resolved that I, Warden Robert Parker, on behalf of the municipality of the County of Pictou, do hereby proclaim the week of May 18th to 24th, 2025, to be VON week. And in honor of this week, we will turn our MOPC lights blue to encourage all citizens to celebrate its essential work within the healthcare system. Dated at Pictou, Nova Scotia, this 5th day of May, 2025, signed by myself, Warden Robert Parker. And I will say on the VON, I just know so many people that are touched by this service wouldn't be able to live in their homes without this service. And not only that, but all the people that are employed with VON. It makes a lot of jobs in this county. So there's two sides to it. The one is the people being served, but also many young people, both male and female, do provide these services, which means so much, like they say, to keep people in their homes and their communities. I don't know if anybody wants to make any comments on the proclamations that we have there or not, but I'll give them an opportunity in case they do. Okay, seeing none, we're going to move along here if I find my place. Business items not requiring action, so there's a report in there to do with the New Scotland Business Development Report, and several councillors here are on that board, so they can answer any questions, I'm sure, that if there are any. Any questions on the New Scotland Business Development Report? Okay, that's, now we come to the ones requiring a vote. So the first one is the, what we dealt with earlier tonight, which is we had held the public hearing on our municipal planning strategy and land use bylaw. And so tonight we're having the vote on that second reading. Who's going to do the reading? Do we have that? Councilor, oh yes, I remember. You mentioned to me before. You want to speak first and then do the reading?
No.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, you go ahead and make the motion and then speak. Okay.
Thank you, Warden. Resolution, second reading. Be it resolved that the Municipal Council of the County of Pictou adopt the land use bylaw and municipal planning strategy dated Pictou, Nova Scotia, this 5th day of May, 2025. Moved by myself, Councilor Randy Palmer, and seconded by Deputy Warden Wayne Murray.
Okay, now you want to speak on that then, Councilor Palmer?
I just want to say something. That this wasn't something that the Planning Advisory Committee wanted to do, and I don't think this is something that this council wanted to go through. But it was legislated by the McNeil government back in 2018, but due to the COVID-19, it was extended by the Houston government. So here we are. All municipalities in Nova Scotia have to come up with a minimum planning standards. And if you don't, then the problems will cut off all provincial funding to the municipalities that don't do this. So this is something that we have to do. If we don't, then we won't get any infrastructure money or any other money that comes this way. So I'd like to begin by thanking the Planning Advisory Committee members. First, there are the citizens' representatives, Earl Cameron and Bonnie Morgan. Bonnie's down back. Thank you very much, Bonnie, for your input. Councilors Ronnie Bailey, Councilor Larry Turner, Deputy Warden Wayne Murray, and Warden Robert Parker. It was a long process, and it took a lot of time, a lot of meetings, and I know that it's not going to be perfect. It's the first shot at it. It's something new to all of us. Zoning and things like that, and a lot of people, I had calls on it, people weren't understanding it, but after I talked to them, they seemed to understand a little bit better. So, and I believe the council members will get calls from the public once this is implemented. So, lastly but not leastly, I'd like to thank Upland for their professionalism and their expertise in guiding us through this process. Without them, there's no way that we would have been able to do this as a council. So thank you very much. We really appreciate everything that you guys did, and your knowledge was unbelievable. So thank you very much. That's it. Thank you.
Yeah, good. Okay, do we have any other comments or questions on the strategy or the bylaws? You want to speak? No. Okay, I will say, I agree with Councilor Palmer. At the first, I was, not positive about this at all, being told what to do again, and knowing some of the history of planning in this county and the disruptions that it caused in a lot of lives back in the 70s. But I think we did take and asked Upland to give us a light, approach, maybe in some cases too light, but I think we have to remember that this is not a static document, that we do have the ability to continually change it as demand comes from individuals or society, that certain things need to change, then we can change that. And we will work on our coastal areas and maybe look at our rivers and that type of thing in the future to see, what the changes that we can make. This is, like Councilor Palmer, this is a start. It's not the end. But I think now that, look at it some, it does have benefits. What Mr. Marshall brought up tonight about the graveyards, and to do with rivers that Mr. Morgan brought up, these are important things too. And a lot of people still have concerns. We just touched the surface almost. in trying, but we did ask them to go light, to not end up in a war like we had in the 70s. And so it's better to start light and then add as needed than it is to go way too heavy and have everybody against you. You'll end up with nothing, and then the province was basically just gonna push in whatever they wanted then. If we didn't come forward with something, they would push something on us. So at least it's ours. We thought we had a bylaw on wind towers, and we saw what happened. So our bylaws can be overruled at any time by the province. They always have the power to overrule what we've done. So, you know, they want us to work with our local people and come up with things, but they can't overrule us. But I believe that we've done the best we could. There was some comments about publicity and everything, and that's always difficult, and we can always do better. But I think we did the best we could at this time. So, are there any other comments or questions on the planning strategy or bylaws? I think we're all tapered out on that. Okay, at this point, I'm going to call for the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
And against? How many nays? 1, 2? Okay, thank you. Okay, we'll move on then. Our next resolution. Oh, sorry. Oh, go ahead, Peter.
I just wanted to be noted too that I couldn't vote.
Oh, yes, that's right. Good. Yeah, but it's a good thing you reminded me, though I did forget. You could have snuck it in there. Okay, thank you for reminding me of that, Peter. Let's move on then to the municipal service grant policy. So 2 grants in there, I guess. Go ahead, Councillor Watton.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Be it resolved by the Municipality of the County of Pictou adopt the following municipal services grant policy, policy number 2025-0505, and the only change is on number 8, D. If the project is completed without requiring $100 or less of the grant allocated by the municipality, then the unspent portion does not need to be returned to the municipality, but it must be accounted for on the reporting form. Dated at Pictou, Nova Scotia, this 5th day of May, 2025, signed by myself, Councillor Deborah Wadden, and seconded by Councillor Ron Bailey.
Okay, you've heard the motion on the municipal service grant policy change. Moved and seconded. Are there any questions on that policy change? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor? Aye. Against? Motion carried. I'll ask you to take over, Mr. Deputy Warden.
Thank you. Resolution number 10-3, resolution tax exemption policy. Councillor Thompson.
Resolution, Municipality of County Pictou tax exemption and tax reduction policy, policy number 2025-05-06. There's a Schedule A, B, and C, and there's some adjustments there to remove some properties from Schedule B and add them to Schedule A of the tax exemption policy. Dated at Pictou, Nova Scotia, this 5th day of May, 2025, moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Larry Turner.
Thank you for the resolution. That's because the properties were sold. That's why the change is. Okay, any questions on the resolution? Hearing none, everyone in favor say aye. Aye. Contrary minded, motion's carried. Resolution 10-4, library funding increase. Councillor Palmer.
Thank you, Deputy Ward. Resolution, whereas the Pictou Antigonish Regional Library Board is requesting a grant increase from all municipal units in Pictou and Antigonish counties. Whereas the board is requesting an overall increase of $25,000 to the municipal grant, which represents $8,386 for the municipality of the County of Pictou. This amount is based on population as per the last funding formula. Therefore, be it resolved that the municipality of the County of Pictou approve the grant increase of $8,386 to the Pictou Antigonish Regional Library with the condition that the other 7 municipalities, which also provide grants to the library board, contribute the requested amount. Dated Pictou, Nova Scotia, the 5th day of May, 2025. Moved by myself, Councillor Randy Palmer, and seconded by Councillor Deborah Watt.
Thank you. Resolution regularly moved and seconded. Any questions on the resolution? Hearing none, everyone in favor say aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion One nay? Motion carried. 10.5, resolution, destruction of documents. Councillor McKeel.
Thank you very much, Deputy Warden Murray. Resolution. Whereas the Municipal Council for the Municipality of the County of Pictou has adopted a bylaw which provides the destruction of any documents or records after they are no longer required for municipal purposes. Whereas the bylaw has been approved by the Minister of Municipal Affairs, and whereas administrative staff has undertaken a process of reviewing obsolete files with a view of seeking the necessary approval to destroy those which are no longer required in accordance with the destruction of documents bylaw. Therefore, be it resolved that the Municipality of the County of Pictou, that the Council authorize the destruction of the documents described in the attached affidavit of the municipal clerk, which indicates that he has personally examined each document or record and confirms that there is nothing of value therein. Dated Pictou, Nova Scotia, this 5th day of May, 2025, signed by myself, Councillor Darla McKeel, and seconded by Councillor Larry Turner.
Regularly moved and seconded. Any questions on the resolution? Any questions?
There's some typos in the first line there, gotta be fixed.
And the contents are listed there. Everyone in favor, say aye. Aye. Don't you mind it? Motion carried.
Where are we?
10.6.
10.6 is the next one. Appointment to the Stellarton Watershed. Councillor Thompson.
Resolution. Be it resolved that the municipality of the County of Pictou appoint Councillor Chester Dewar to represent the municipality as an elected official on the Town of Stellarton's Watershed Committee, dated at Pictou, Nova Scotia, this 5th day of May, 2025. Moved by myself, Councillor Andy Thompson, seconded by Councillor Larry Turner.
Okay, you've heard the reading of the motion to appoint Councillor Dewar to the Stellarton Watershed, and I believe he already accepted at a previous meeting, so he has no way to back out now. So are there any questions on the motion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carried. Now we'll move on to, oh no, we agreed to do that one after the in-camera session. So the next item then is consideration of deferred business. Is there any deferred business this evening? Okay, we still have nothing on the library in Pictou. That situation just seemed to fizzle out. I think we're gonna have to push them harder.
Yeah, we do not have anything formal, although we got a bill for it. So, so we have to nail the agreement down because there's no signed agreement at this point, so.
That was on operating expenses, wasn't
Exactly,
it? Yeah.
yeah.
But it, you know, we kept telling us there was gonna be a meeting next month and meet the next month, and, so we will have to go after them on that one, but that's the only thing I can think of under deferred business. Go ahead.
Just on that, did they not put in for a grant through us? Through the grant committee? Did we not, the library board? Or was that the cost center?
The costs.
The cost
The
was,
cost, so
yeah.
we're funding the cost, and we'll fund the library also.
They're separate in
Yeah.
terms of the
No.
cost got their funding.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, all right, if we're going in camera, well, we have to come back in public session anyway after to deal with the internet borrowing once we deal with this. So I was gonna, yeah, but I was gonna do that first, but no, I think because we have to come back in anyway to deal with this one. Now, if the council's in agreement, let's do 13 now. Well, there's still some people here rather than empty everybody out. There'll be nobody here. So is that all right with everybody? Go ahead and do the community announcements. Well, I'll ask, are there any community announcements? Peter?
My community's asking me in phone calls on a daily basis about the tax sale that's supposed to happen in May. We were told, is it gonna happen in May? With the when is it gonna happen, so I can tell them?
Okay, I'll leave that to our CAO.
Won't happen in May. Council, we were going to try and have something here tonight just on the minimum bidding, but we will have that at property in 2 weeks' time for you to decide on the minimum bidding.
So if we decide that, I think what Peter's asking is when do we anticipate that the
So
sale?
then the sale will come after that. So there's,
June.
yeah, there are statutory advertising things that we have to meet, so.
Okay. Other community announcements? No, I got one here somewhere. Go ahead, Joe.
Stand Up Comedian Night in Kensville at 7 PM on the 10th. And if you're not interested in that, there's a Murder Mystery Night at the Americamish Community Center that night too.
Thank you. Any other community announcements? I have one here, but I'm waiting to see if there's any others. Go ahead, Councilor Palmer.
Just wanted to let everybody know that lacrosse has started up again in Thornton Rink. And they play, or they're Monday and Wednesdays, but they got this weekend they got games coming up. So if anybody's interested in watch lacrosse, I think they have a website, so it's very entertaining if you haven't seen it before, but, you know, and then the junior B team plays out there also, and they have games where other teams come in from the province, and so do the younger groups, so it's very entertaining. So if anybody wants to come out and watch lacrosse, then you're more than welcome.
Thank you for that. And I
They
know
get good crowds, I know that.
It was only a couple of years back, 2 or 3 years, they couldn't find a home. You know, there wasn't any place for people to play lacrosse, so I'm glad they have that opportunity in Thorburn now. In District 6, at the new, it's fairly new field that they're developing in Salem called Sarah. So they're having a spring fling market on May the 31st, last day of May, from 10 to 2. And space for vendors, if anybody knows somebody that wants to sell their crafts or whatever, they don't have to be from that area. If they pay the $15, they get a spot. And there's a barbecue and refreshments, 50/50, the whole deal. So that's the last day of May at the old ball field, we'll call it in Salem, it's now called Sarah. Okay, go ahead, Councilor Thompson.
I guess I just want to give a shout out to the community of Plymouth. Couple things. It was 33 years ago this week that the Westry mine exploded and changed the trajectory of our community for a long time. We struggled after that. But we got things going now. And we had a good day on April 25th. There was three announcements that day. There was one in the morning with the new long-term care home in Plymouth that is being under construction now. 144-bed long-term care facility. It's going to be beautiful. In the afternoon, the Premier announced 2 separate funding. One for our child care program. It's a child care center that we're building at the Plymouth Community Center. This is a unique project that the province worked in partnership with the community and Pictou County Partnership to fund. $3.1 million is going to go a long way to help young families in Pictou County. It's a much needed thing. There's 58 spaces there. There's 16 or 18 infant spaces. It's in a perfect location. It's right next to a long-term care facility. It's going to be able to gather up all those children from up East River Valley, along with the neighboring towns. So it's quite exciting. And the second project that was announced at the community center that day was for 21 community buildings in Pictou County. It was a net zero project that I've talked to you about. And again, Plymouth played a leadership role at the community center as the lead applicant for 21 community buildings across Pictou County. And we're working our way through those buildings. They're out in West Branch right now, putting solar panels on the roof and doing all kinds of upgrades to the building. They're going to be in Springville. They're doing work in Miragamish. This project here is transformative for these small communities, and I'm proud to play a part in that. But it took a lot of hands to get us to this point. So I want to shout out to these community halls that stepped forward and said, yes, we're going to try something bold. And we got $600,000 through the Sustainable Communities Challenge Fund, which is funded through the Nova Scotia Department of Environment and administered by the Nova Scotia Federation of Municipalities. There's lots of interest in what we're doing in Pictou County here, and I think we can replicate both of these projects in other areas of, again, maybe another round of net zero in Pictou County, but maybe there's a child care center in another part of the county that we could have up and running. So kudos to the folks that step forward.
Thank you, Councillor Thompson, and that wasn't the only big winning day for Councillor Thompson. At the end of NSFM, when they try to keep everybody to the end, and then they, in order to keep the crowd there, you don't win if you don't stay. And so Councillor Thompson won the grand prize, which was, what, 2-night stay at the Truro Hotel there or whatever. So that's it was good to see. That day on the draws, there was 3 from Pictou County. There was a lady from one of the councillors from Westville. Who was the other one? Nancy Dix, the mayor of Glasgow, also won a whole lot of shopping tickets or credit, $500 or $600 worth, I think. So it was a good day for Pictou County. That was on last Friday, I guess it was. Yeah, good day at that point. Okay. So if that's all the community announcement, Councillor Donnie Parker, sorry, didn't see the light. I should start looking for the lights.
If I may, Mr. Warden, I want to comment on Councillor Thompson's project here where he's helping out all these old community halls and making them energy efficient. I think that is a huge thing. I think you should be commended for that. I think there's a lot of really good stuff being done there, and when I heard about it here during your presentation on the climate committee there, I thought that was outstanding work. I just think you should be appreciated for that. Thank you, Mr. Warden.
Okay, and to Councillor Palmer.
Thank you, Warden. Just to echo Councillor Donnie Parker's remarks there. If it wasn't for Councillor Thompson, those 2 projects would not have happened. I was at the announcement on last week there, or 2 weeks ago, whatever it was. Days run together for me, so. And you could tell, without Councillor Thompson's input, those 2 projects would never have happened. So, congratulations on your efforts. It's going to be super for your community, and I congratulate you. Thank you.
Okay, and Councillor Donnie Parker, get you to turn your light off, and Councillor Chester Dewar.
I just went and put my rubber boots on. I got to congratulate him too. After 15 years of whining about sidewalks, we have the nicest piece of sidewalk from the bridge to the Trans-Canada right now. That company from Antigonish, Clifton's, they must have had 15 men there working.
Yeah, anyway.
And they cleaned it out, they dug it down, and what a job. The grass is green already. So I don't know how that happened so quick, but I certainly think that we made the right decision by hiring Clifton's, because they did a lot in a very, very short time. And they're tearing up another spot there today. So I guess when he's swelled up, we might as well swell him right up. Thank you.
Okay, go ahead, Sven.
Mine's short. I'm just, for anybody that wasn't with us last Wednesday night, Ed Kennedy of River John is our Volunteer of the Year for the municipality, so.
And well deserved. He's done a lot of work for this council, and there was a lot of good candidates there too. You know, it was a shame that everybody wasn't winners, so but somebody had to be a winner, and certainly he's done a lot for us. Go ahead, Brian.
Just on the Blue Acres sidewalk, the province of Nova Scotia did announce almost 2 weeks ago that they actually funded it. We got notice on Friday that the announcement had gone out the week before. So it is out there that they are the
And I think that's,
funding.
Yeah, I think that's important, because from the first time we discussed this, part of the problem was, the size, the cost of doing it. And then we ruled out the bridge, and it seemed like then it was handleable. But then over the 3 or 4 years, whatever, costs have gone so out of touch that it was back up almost to the price with the bridge, I think. So if the province hadn't stepped up, we did try to find funding partners with the towns and weren't successful there, but the province did step up and fund half of the project, which allowed us to come in still slightly over our 400,000, but in a reasonable place where we could do it. I still hope that they come through with the lighting and the safety features that we've asked for, because without that, I think we're in trouble. But I'm hoping, I'll ask Brian again, is it still on track for that lighting to take place, be part of the project?
It's under review, I guess is the way we'll review and
Don't like the sound of that.
well, review and design, I guess we'll call it. They're looking at how it would be designed to meet what's being built. So, so something will come back on that.
Okay, I think it's so important. There's one thing to put a sidewalk in, have a nice place for people to cross, but if it's not safe, and it is dark there at night, like it is everywhere, but it's also a wide stretch to cross without some type of warning for drivers who are distracted by about 14 different things when they want to zip up the East River Valley, and there's cars coming here and everything else going on, so I hope that takes place. Okay, are we ready at this point to have a motion to go in camera? So moved. Okay, and a seconder? Okay, I got 2 seconders, you can choose what you want. public session at this time, and Deputy Warden Murray, you have the resolution on internet borrowing.
Is he gone? Oh, waiting for John. He waited this long. We gotta wait for
He's
him.
tough. He's tough.
Impressive.
Okay, resolution, Municipal Council of the Municipality County of Pictou, temporary borrowing resolution renewal. Amount of $31,542,110. Renewed project Schedule A, which was attached. Whereas Section 66 of the Municipal Government Act provides the Council of the Municipality of the County of Pictou, subject to the approval of the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, may borrow to expand funds for a capital purpose as authorized by statute. Whereas the Council of the Municipality of the County of Pictou has adopted a capital budget for this fiscal year as required by Section 65 of the Municipal Government Act and are so authorized to expend funds for a capital purpose as identified in their capital budget. Whereas pursuant to a resolution passed in Municipal Council on the first day of May 2023, the Council postponed the issue of debentures and with the approval of the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, dated the 6th day of July 23, did borrow from a chartered bank or trust company during business in Nova Scotia a sum not exceeding $31,542,110 for the purpose set out above for a period not exceeding 12 months. And whereas Council has deemed it expected that the period of borrowing be further extended, be it therefore resolved that subject to the approval of the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, the authorized period of borrowing in the amount not exceeding $31,542,110 be extended for a further period not exceeding 24 months from the date of the approval of the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing. I so move this resolution and seconded by Councillor McKeel.
So seconded.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve the resolution for internet borrowing for up to 24 months. For what was the amount, 31?
$31,542,110.
Okay, for that amount, and up to 24 months. Are there any questions on that resolution? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carried. Now, the only other thing I have left is motions of reconsideration. We did that? We did the deferred business one, I know, but, okay, if there's no motions of reconsideration, I would declare this meeting adjourned at this time. Have a safe drive home.